Hey everybody, this is Dilyana and I'm excited to bring you Menopause Made Easy, a podcast designed to provide you tips and strategy to navigate the changes in woman's body, mind and spirit with more grace and ease. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe and turn on your notifications so you are updated of each episode release. Alright, let's dive in. Hello everyone and welcome to Menopause Made Easy. I'm your host Dilyana, menopause and sleep expert. And today I have Marjorie Nass, expert in Ayurveda and menopause. She helping women thriving through perimenopause and menopause. Instead of being inevitable struggle, she really helped the women to thrive. So I'm so glad that she accepted my offer to have interview today. So you take a look in different perspective through Ayurveda, how actually your health and life imbalances can be managed. Marjorie has 2 decades of experience, utilize all the aspects of science of Ayurveda to guide the woman in perimenopause and menopause to thrive. She have a unique holistic system that she's gonna introduce us in this conversation and how she help exactly with her system. So welcome, Marjorie, and let us know a little bit more about your system in Ayurveda, how exactly you help women in perimenopause and menopause.
Well, thank you so much for having me. So my system is really getting to the underlying causes of why women are struggling with their night sweats and hot flashes and excess weight and fatigue. And Ayurveda, for those of you who don't know, is a word that simply means knowledge of life. So it's really like how to live in a body. And for most of us, we have not been living balanced lives. And for women who have not been taking care of themselves in a way that optimizes health, menopause and perimenopause is the time when these symptoms come up. So I'm really helping women address the basic lifestyle issues because underneath it all, that's really what's happening. And I like to say that the body is sending messages. It's not something to be ignored. How can I get rid of this? It's like really addressing what's happening right now and how can we thrive for the next 30, 40 years and beyond.
So, how you can find this balance in our life during these hormonal changes?
That's a great question. And I really look at life as coming into balance. So not just work and life, but how can we find balance in every area? And if we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not healthy, what else do we really have? So making it a priority to take care of yourself first, because everyone around you is suffering, whether it's your family, whether it's your community. And if you're not feeling well and you're exhausted and have brain fog, you're not going to be showing up in your work as well as you know that you can. You're not going to be performing. I just spoke with a woman and she has gained weight. She's feeling uncomfortable and she's not feeling as confident in presentations and showing up at work. So it really affects everything. And that starts by saying, I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my health. And this is the way that I'm choosing to live my life.
So choosing, it's important, start to prioritizing yourself and just take this me time to reset and then just be with yourself and connect with your body, connect with your mind in a healing way. So how Ayurveda help in this transition period of woman's life?
Well, it really is a transition and I like to keep it super simple. So basically in the transition, things are coming up in our life that are really about change. So for women who have been raising families, the kids are getting older, there's not so much focus on that. They know that's coming up in the next few years. So there's really starts to be an identity shift about who someone is in the world. And all of those emotions that come up can also affect our body and the struggles that we're having and the heat and the anxiety and all of those things. So the first thing that I have women look at is what is really important to you. how do you want your life to be? What's the vision? Because without a map on where we want to go, that's going to be difficult. And understanding that the reason why we're making changes in lifestyle is to get a life like that, because it's very easy to say, well, I'm just giving an example. I'm going to stop eating dessert, or I'm going to reduce my portions. But if that was that easy, 2/3 of the country would not be obese, 2/3 of the US. There has to be a bigger reason when making lifestyle changes. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it because I want to stay active with my grandchildren eventually. And I want to be as sharp and active as I can be.
So I guess that it's complex program that you offer that include nutrition, exercise, and mindset. Is that right?
Well, that's a great question. And it is actually very simple. I do focus on lifestyle and daily habits, and mindset is, a general word. But again, we have to look at what it is that we want. And when women are not clear about that, that's where the overwhelming fatigue and the irritability, that all starts coming into play. So the very first thing that I work on is sleep, because without a good night's sleep, nothing else matters. It's going to affect your weight. It's going to affect your mood. It's going to affect how productive and clear and focused that you are. So absolutely. I mean, when we're talking about what we do every day, we sleep every day, night. We eat every day. So of course that's going to matter, but it's not just what we eat. It's how, when, where, and why, and even with who that we're eating. Because we can be eating the most nutritious, freshly farmed meal. But if we're not present, if we're rushing, if we're standing up, we won't be getting the nourishment that we do. And movement, I mean, I actually don't really use the word exercise anymore, because exercise implies that it's something we have to go do. I have to go to the gym. I have to go to class. And it becomes another list. I like the word movement, because moving is what we really need to do. And for women who are sitting all day and then they're going to the gym for an hour, that's okay. But that's not what's going to make the big difference of moving regularly throughout the day.
What kind of movement is involved?
So I keep things very, very simple. So the movement can be a short walk. It can be some shaking. It can be shaking out your body. It can be some simple stretching, simple yoga poses. Because if we are doing that regularly, whether it's every 45 minutes for 2 or 3 minutes, it's so great for focus, and it's so great for digestion, and it's so great for the body. Most women start to experience aches and pains once they're in their 40s and their 50s, and living a sedentary life that most of us do, at least part of the time. I know that I do. That moving is critical for all aspects of health.
So is that more restorative yoga, yin yoga, yoga nidra? What kind of stages?
So there are different styles of yoga is what I'm trying to say. And this is where it can get a little specific. So depending on the woman, and we talk in Ayurveda very simply, we call it constitution, which basically just has to do with a tendency. So for example, a woman who has more heat in her body, that she tends to get angry easier. She tends to get really red in the face when she's having a hot flash, really sweating. Like going to a hot yoga class is not going to be helpful, because it just exacerbates what she's already experiencing. So for women, I'm teaching them to be intuitive about what their body actually needs. And that comes with being more centered and knowing ourselves. So for somebody like that, it would be more calming, restorative poses, breath work that helps to cool the body. And then for somebody else who's really more sedentary, It is going to be a more vigorous type of yoga. And I'm going to say active, not even vigorous, but it can be simple things. And in fact, really difficult, strenuous workouts can, for some people, be counterproductive, where it is interfering with weight loss. And I know that a lot of people have not heard that, and they're just exercising more and eating less. And for women in perimenopause and menopause, that can be the worst thing to do.
And so that it's individual approach. You have kind of assessment first, and then you do one-on-one, or you do also group.
So I keep it really simple. I keep it so that we're looking at what every woman needs first. Every woman is going to be the same in a lot of ways. When we're aligning with nature's rhythms, the daily rhythms, the monthly rhythms, the seasonal rhythms, everybody is the same. So in some sense, some people will say that Ayurveda is very, very individual. Do this, don't do that. I take what certain things that work for everybody. So in fact, we all start on the same page, and this is a group program. Everything is online, the lessons, the trainings, so that women can learn. And then I have a group Q&A where women can come with their questions. I do include one-on-one sessions with women so we can get to the specifics about what they need throughout our time working together. But I'm not giving a complicated list of foods, of specifics of doing this and don't eat that. So many women that I speak with are doing very, very complicated diets, nutrition plans, where they're counting calories, they're counting macros, and that's really hard to sustain. I'm talking about a lifestyle change that women can live with for the rest of their life, not go on something and then go off. Does that make sense?
Yes. How they enter in the group, or how you know that this is for them?
Oh, that's a great question. So the way that I give women the information is through my 5 Shifts to Thrive through perimenopause and menopause masterclass. And that really lays out a lot of the shifts that women can take in order to start to feel better. Now, for most women, like having the information, and for most people, having the information is not the issue. It's about the transformation. There's no shortage of information. If you Google menopausal symptoms, 26 million hits will come up. And of course, at the top is the sponsors. So you're going to get all the supplements and things like that. But I'm really working with women to have a transformation. So once they watch the webinar, if they want, I invite them to a one-on-one breakthrough call with me where they get really clear about how their struggles are negatively impacting their life. We get really clear on that, and we get clear on where they want to go in their life, how they want to feel, what they want to do. And if there's a way that I can help, I'll let them know what my program looks like. But I want to make sure it's a good fit, that it's the kind of woman that I know that I can help. So if that makes sense. And then my program includes everything that I told you, the one-on-ones, the trainings, but that's not like, those details are not really what it's about. It's about getting women who are miserable and not sleeping and gaining weight and struggling with the hot flashes, and all that creates more irritability. It's about how to get out of that cycle, get out of that prison and live your life again. Feel like yourself again, like you're happy. That's how we're meant to feel. That's one thing that I love with Ayurveda, that our natural state is one of ease. It's one of ease in the body. And when there's something that's out of balance, it's our body sending us a message.
Let's talk about sleep a little bit. How you help exactly with the sleep?
Yeah. So one thing that a lot of people don't know is that a good night's sleep starts in the morning. Crazy, right? So we're looking at what's happening throughout the day and creating a routine, creating a regular routine. Those of you who have children, you have a routine to get your kids to bed at a certain time. And then there's a bath, and then there's a story, and that they start to expect that. So it's similar to that, but it also has to do with everything. It has to do with what we're eating, what we're drinking, what kind of how late our day is ending and all of those things. And obviously I've been doing this for 2 decades. So there's a whole lot more than I can explain. But what I can say is that if you are waking up and you're tired, if you try to get up earlier to add a few more things to do, like quote unquote self-care, all of those kinds of things, it's not going to be sustainable because you're going to be too tired. So the first thing that once women are tracking their sleep, tracking their hot flashes, that we do is we get into a regular rhythm of going to sleep. I never change it more than 15 minutes at a time. So if you're going to sleep at 11:30, we're not going to have you go to sleep at 10. It's moving that back so that most of the sleep is taking place between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And that's the time, and this is also with Ayurveda, but it does connect with the daily rhythms. So the sun is high in the sky in the middle of the day. That's the time we're meant to be awake, to be productive. And then as the day winds down, we get tired in the evening, and that's totally normal. But when we are trying to stay up later and later, we're missing that time that our body can do the deepest level of repair, which is what sleep is all about. Our body needs it. Our brain needs it to do this deeper level of detoxification so we can release what we don't need. And so that time between 10 and 2 is the most optimal time. So if you're going to sleep at 12:30, you're only getting an hour and a half of that window. So trying to push it back a little bit. So those are some of the things that I also recommend.
So in the program, women do the video they follow by themselves, or it's pre-recorded kind of, or it's evergreen program, or it's live?
So I do these calls ongoing so women can join at any time. The trainings themselves, I've recorded in advance so the women can listen and they can watch and they can, find out what they need to do for their homework on their own time. And those get released week by week. Every week, of course, there are going to be questions for women. So every week I do a live Q&A. The women that are in the program, they can ask whatever questions that they want. I'm also available through email or text through the week in between if there are any questions. And then there are those one-on-one sessions. So women can join at any time. I've been doing online stuff for over 11 years, which I can't believe. So I was a little bit of, one of the earlier ones, and I've done them all. I've done evergreen. I've done launches where it was just once or twice a year that I was doing these things. But this works best because who wants to wait 3 months until you can start a program that you can feel better in 3 months, way better than you do now? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So how, if you want to wrap up with one important thing that they need to remember and start to implement right away, what is that? What is the one thing that they can start implement so that they feel, they start to prioritize yourself and self-care?
Yeah. So it's hard to break it down to just one, but I'm going to do this. We now even have alerts on our watches. And when I started doing that, people had to set an alarm, an actual alarm, but to move every 45 minutes to an hour. And that can just be 2 or 3 minutes. Getting up, it will make you more productive. If you feel like you're right in the middle of something, you will feel more clear and more productive if you get up and you walk around. Even better, get outside for 2 or 3 minutes, get some fresh air, and then come back and you're going to feel fresh and focused and ready to get to your next task, your next project, that you can be the sharpest that you can be.
Brilliant. So how people can reach out and work with you?
Well, thank you so much. So in order to get to my masterclass, you can actually just go to my website. It's marjorienass.com. And there are a few points on the website that'll say, watch the training. And you can just click on there and you'll find a lot of really valuable information. And if you feel like you want more help, to transform, please book a breakthrough call. Actually, if you've heard enough and you just want to, it's marjorienassmasterclass.com/apply. Because you've listened for 25 minutes rather than going and watching the masterclass. I just want to invite you to book a call. And I look forward to speaking with you. And thank you so much, Dilyana.
Thank you so much to be with me today, share this valuable information, how women start to take care of themselves, what is important, how sleep is important to start with. Thank you, listeners, to be with us every time. I hope to listen to the next episode again very soon. And thank you again to share this episode, to subscribe and share this valuable information with everyone that you think that you can benefit. Thank you again. Thank you for tuning into Menopause Made Easy. You can check out more episodes on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and your favorite podcast apps. Check out the show notes for any website linked to this episode, including where to connect with me on social media. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you'll be updated of each episode release. And visit me at menopausesupportacademy.com for all podcast updates as well. Appreciate you dropping by.